any person, a person, right? So obviously it's their youth, it's their family, uh, a few influential teachers in their lives. Steve Jobs, in my case, was also a teacher. I fundamentally define myself as a father, and these things you see me do, like writing, speaking, advising, they're all a means to an end, the end being providing for my family. I don't particularly care for the attention. I don't, for sure, I don't need the attention. I'm perfectly happy to be anonymous. So that's kind of where I am. I like working alone. That's why I like writing a book, not being part of a team. I don't want to run another team. And my family is more important to me than anything. So this lifestyle fits, where I can write and speak at my own sort of schedule and convenience. Well, certainly my father passed along the concept of, noblesse oblige, and things about humility. Not that I'm always humble, but that definitely got passed along. From Steve Jobs, I certainly learned that people can't tell you what they need. They can only tell you, how to revise the current or the status quo. They can't tell you how to jump to the next curve. So those are two very valuable lessons. From Apple in general, I learned the lesson that, there are enough people who care about great products. Not everybody does, but there are enough for critical mass, and that was a valuable lesson. Certainly, the introduction and eventual success of Macintosh bears fruit and provides many lessons in innovation. Not all of them positive ones. I learned that the best widget doesn't necessarily win. I think Macintosh was clearly better than MS-DOS and clearly better than Windows, and yet it became a 5% market share. I don't know, maybe it's 10% today, but it's never been 90%, and we thought we would have 90% market share. So that was something. The great product doesn't necessarily win. I also learned that Macintosh created a great tribe of loyalists, and these loyalists, they are not shareholders or employees of Apple, but they truly believe. So I learned in the power of providing a great product that people believe in, much like Harley Davidson would do, or some of the marquee cars would do. That was a very valuable lesson. I learned with Macintosh in particular, no one was asking for a Macintosh, so it disrupted technology, but it was not technology that was requested by customers. They wanted a bigger, faster, cheaper Apple II. They didn't particularly ask for a Macintosh. Of course, there's sort of, for every lesson you can draw from Apple, you can draw the opposite lesson too, right? So you can stick with a dog and it'll kill you, right? So that's true. You can anticipate your customers' needs, and rather than listen to them, tell them what they will need, and you could be wrong in that too. Apple has just happened to pull it off, and I think it's very dangerous actually to look at Apple and say, well, Apple's so successful, so I'll do what Apple did. And one thing is they don't necessarily listen to customers. So is that the secret to Apple's success? So every company should now not listen to customers? That's debatable. So it's a very tricky thing, and Apple clearly had one visionary at the top, and he was an autocrat, made all the decisions. So do you look at Apple and say, well, that seems to have created the world's most valuable company. I should be a CEO like that. Well, is that true? I don't know. Steve Jobs was unique. I don't know if anybody will do things the way he did. If you simply depend on market research and customer feedback, you will never create a revolution. On the other hand, you'll never have a spectacular failure either, probably, but you will never have a revolution. It takes a predictive power. It takes luck to start a revolution. So that's an important, although dangerous lesson. You will face constant conflicts in your choices. Management is telling you one thing, shareholders are telling you another, customers telling you another, your gut is telling you another. So, what do you do? And that is a very difficult choice. But I think if you keep the algorithm in the back of your mind that you always do what's right for the customer, not necessarily the shareholders, certainly not bloggers and the press. I mean, I could make the case you do the opposite of what they tell you, but if you always remember that, old as this may sound, the customer is always right, with the caveat that the customer is right, but sometimes the customer cannot express it. You'll be okay. There's always if you work for a public company, you have to show results in 90 days. My manager is clueless. Those are really the big two. And ask for forgiveness, not permission. That's one strategy. Or quit and find a better company. Even if global warming is not true, why would you want to have low mileage cars spewing more pollution, all this kind of stuff? There's no upside in the status quo. There's none. Now, maybe there's no downside, but I can't see an intellectual argument to say that, global warming doesn't exist, so let's just all buy cars and, pollute the atmosphere. There's just no reason. So that's one. I am a just die-hard liberal, whatever, and this whole gun control thing is just freaking amazing to me. That the NRA believes that people should have 30 clip rifles just in case you're out hunting one day. And what happens if 30 deer attack you? God help you. One rifle with one bullet isn't enough. This herd of rabid deer attack you, and you need an automatic weapon. You don't know how I really feel. So those are issues that I think about.